chug, 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 chug,
Hello and welcome back to the Wizard Staff. I'm your host, Guy.
And I'm Blake.
And we are two drunk novices who like to talk about EDH. We drink and swear, so you've been warned. Please drink responsibly when playing children's card games. Tonight we are going over the second part to our in-universe set review of Tarkir Dragonstorm. In the last episode we talked everything but dragons, and tonight we're talking all dragons. So, if it's got dragon or cares about dragon, this is the episode. Yes. So if you were like, Guy, Blake, you didn't talk about this commander in the last episode. Well, we'll probably talk about it here. We got about 10 commanders to talk about, and then just some monocolor dragon good stuff. So, I'm looking forward to this. It's kind of I don't think you get to do this too often with set reviews, but this is like the first kind of typal set that we've had in a while. And dragons are, I would say, probably the most popular creature type.
I think that's correct. I think it's like dragons, and then, I don't know, it's like angel, and then zombies, I'd say, maybe?
Those sound correct. Goblins is probably pretty high. Elves are pretty high.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all those high
and
fantasy
dragons are the best
things that the normal person thinks of when they think of like mythological creatures. Yeah, like they just will always, I think they'll always get support, like cards in the future.
I actually think there's almost always a dragon in every single set. But the first set to not include a dragon in recent memory was Duskmourn.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Even Bloomborough had one dragon. It had Dragonhawk.
Oh, and I do know that Outlaws of Thunder Junction even had dragons. They had the fucking scorpion dragons. I remember, because like the concept of a scorpion dragon just seems so fucking ridiculous, but also very cool at the same time.
Yeah. It did have those too. And Terror of the Peaks.
Oh god, yeah. Terror of the Peaks, fuck. Anywho, so at the beginning of this episode, as Guy said, we're going to go over the commanders. There's both these like spirit dragons in this plane, and they have them in both the commander precons that go with the set and the different versions with different effects within the main set itself. So for example, the first one we're going to talk about is Nariv, and it has two different effects. There's like Nariv Cackling Vanguard, which is in the commander precon, and then there's Nariv Heart of the Storm, which is in the main set. And so we're gonna talk about both of them at the same time, because it's like the same character, and we just figure that's a nice clean way of just going through cards quickly and efficiently. And so I think we're gonna do that for the 5 main spirit dragons of the set, correct?
Yes, they're the only new legendary dragons of the set, and they kind of take the place of the Dragon Lords that we knew from Tarkir previously.
I think we can just read one, kind of explain it, and then talk about the other one and explain that one.
Yep, sounds good. Why don't you kick us off with these two?
Alright, so in the commander precon, we have Nariv Cackling Vanguard, 2 red, white, black, for a legendary creature, spirit dragon, 4/4. It has flying and death touch. When Nariv enters, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Whenever Nariv attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of different named tokens you control. During any turn you attacked with a commander, you may play those cards. So that's a lot of words. So basically, here's this flying 4/4 Death Touch dragon. When it enters, you make like 2 little red goblins. And the main meat of this card is that when it attacks, you're going to exile a certain number of cards on the top of your deck, equal to like the different number of named tokens you got, and then like play those. You have the ability to play those cards. So like what this commander wants you to do is like weird. It's like Mardu tokens, but not just like a certain type of token or an efficient way of doing tokens, but like just play Mardu cards that make all as different types of tokens as you can. So therefore you're exiling through the top of your deck and able to like go through your deck quickly. It's weird. I don't think this kind of deck has really existed before, where it's like quote unquote different named token matters. It's strange.
Yeah, I think it's very unique in design. Some of the cards that like kind of come to my mind are like Secure the Waste, which can create tokens pretty cheaply. Yeah, so the big thing is you just want to try and create as many differently named tokens as you can. It also doesn't necessarily need to be creatures, so it could be treasure tokens, it could be clue tokens, and
that's a good point.
yeah,
Yep.
and this is kind of a way of just being able to extend your hand. Just like kind of have these cards off to the side, and you can continue to play them as long as Nariv has attacked for the turn. So the other big thing is like you kind of want to make sure that he will either have like indestructible, hexproof, something, so that you can keep him around as long as you can, so that he can, you know, continue to like have those cards in reserve.
Right, and I think what you said is just now was the important part about this commander, where it's like it's basically like extending your hand. Like when people think of token decks, they oftentimes think of like go wide or go tall token decks, or both. But I think in this case, it's like neither of those. It's like you want like 1 or 2 of like some weird obscure token, and then like another card that makes 1 or 2 of another obscure type of token. You're not necessarily looking to like make 10 1/1 white warriors and then make 15 blue, like 2/2 blue birds, right? Like, or not that you can even do that in this color identity, but you get my point, right?
Yeah, it's not. No, it doesn't matter necessarily the number of tokens you make at once. It's the number of different types of tokens that you make.
Yeah. So that all being said, I have a feeling this won't be the most popular commander, despite the fact that, like you said, I feel like it's pretty unique design space and has legs. Like it's a card advantage engine in the command zone. But I'm not quite sure it's going to be as popular as this other Nariv, which is Heart of the Storm. It is 1 red, white, black for a legendary creature, Spirit Dragon 4/5 with flying. And it's very simple. If a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much damage instead. So that's a simple but powerful effect that's similar to stuff sort of like Furnace of Wrath, where like you're quote unquote doubling damage. There's a number of effects besides Furnace of Wrath, particularly in red, that do this, often like at 4 or 5 or 6 mana value. But the wording of this card is interesting because it not only accounts for like damage doubling, it also accounts for things like your creatures entering and let's just say your creatures have haste and like they're able to attack. Like that triggers this dragon as well. So like then it'll attack, deal damage, and then it'll deal like twice that much damage instead. So it's like in a way giving your creatures, assuming they have haste, which is not that difficult, like pseudo double strike, which is also very powerful. the wording of this again is so broad that it could even apply to certain things like where ancients tread. Like, say you play this in a bunch of other dragons, and like you just slam down like these big beefy dragons, and like your where ancients tread triggers, and it deals 5 damage to like someone's face or their creatures. Well, now it's dealing double that damage. So, or like, yeah, like the wording on this is so broad. Like, it's actually quite powerful, and I expect this to be moderately popular.
Yeah, I think it's pretty strong. I think, you know, some of the other cards I think of that could go into this are like Angrath's Marauder, Soltham Mayhem Dominus, and Fiendish Duo, City on Fire, like other amplifiers, because you play those and you have your commander, which you always have access to, so already you'll get like the double in. And then if you play any of these others that can essentially double up again, like you're looking at like quadruple to 6 times maybe as much damage, and that just stacks pretty hard.
Alright, I think with that being said, I think we're ready to move on to the next, like, quote-unquote set of spirit dragons.
Yep. So this next one is the Teamer Spirit Dragon. This first one is from the Commander deck. So it's Ureni of the Unwritten. 4 green, blue, red. Legendary creature Spirit Dragon. Flying, trample. Whenever Ureni enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon creature from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it's a 7/7. So it's 7 mana, 7/7. Whenever it enters or attacks, you get to basically cheat out another dragon. Digging 8 cards is pretty good, I'd say. And
yeah,
I think
like, when's the last time we saw a card in Commander like relevancy that's like, oh, every time this triggers on attack or ETB, like, look 8 deep. Like, we're a 100 singleton format, and like looking at 8 cards deep, like depending on what then triggers, like that's actually pretty far. Like, ever since Winota came out, I now have started to think about, like, look at the top, like, 6 or 7 or 8. Like, okay, maybe that's actually pretty powerful effect. Like, because I remember misjudging Winota and how powerful it became. So now whenever I see that wording, I'm like, have to do a double take. I'm like, oh, is it good? Maybe?
I mean, I think this one's pretty good because, like, if you're cheating out dragons, dragons are pretty strong. So, like, of the cards to cheat out, it's like, yeah. I mean, if you give this thing haste, you're essentially cheating out 2 dragons the first turn that it comes out. I think it's, is it Hellkite Courser? This is me speaking. Yep, Hellkite Courser, which is a card from, it's actually included in this deck, I think. Which this is probably like the best card, I think, because it's a 6 mana dragon that essentially like puts your commander from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste, so it's like, okay, put it on, it can then get another dragon. It has haste, it can attack, get another dragon. So essentially you just got like 4 dragons onto the field pretty quickly. Yeah.
I think this is a fundamental dragon card. Like, I don't want to say that a million times this episode, but I truly think, like, for like dragon typal decks, this goes in the 99 just so you can continue to do dragon things, which is cheat more dragons into play. Yep. Yeah, but it also just works if you want to play team or dragon typal.
Yeah,
like, pretty strong.
I with this set, I have tried to re-amp my Dragon deck list. I know that this will certainly be a card that makes the final cut.
Yeah,
I think this one's very strong. This next one, I don't think is as strong in Commander, but it's Gibboney, the song Unending, 5 green, blue, red, legendary creature, spirit dragon, flying, protection from white and from black. When it enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. So essentially it's just going to kind of like board wipe every turn. You can maybe try to blink it, get that value. You are in green, so you're going to be ramping. Try to get as many lands as you can onto the field. It just seems very expensive for like a very okay effect.
Yeah, I agree with you in that it's very high mana value at like 8 mana. Like, that is a lot, like, to ask. Now, the upside to it is, like, based on what this commander's asking you, it's basically asking you to ramp up a whole bunch early to mid game and then slam Gibboney, the song Unending, like late game, and deal like a bunch of damage strategically, so then you in theory are like coming out ahead, right, and pivoting the game in your favor. Yeah I also, Guy, tell me what you think, but I found it very interesting where the wording is very similar to Animar Soul of Elements, where it says protection from white and from black. We haven't really seen that in quite some time, but I think we've both played against Animar Soul of Elements. Like, that's a pretty strong, like, way of making sure your commander sticks on the board. Like, sure, red and blue and green have answers, like in the form of spot removal, but like getting protection from white and from black means this Gibboney is going to dodge a lot of targeted spot removal.
I mean, the best spot removal is probably in white and in black, if we're being honest. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess like that's nice that you're paying all this mana. It's a 10/10, slam it on the field, boom, you're done.
We'll stick around a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think the other Gibboney of the Unwritten will be more popular, though.
I think it's more popular, and I think it's much stronger. So. All right, what's next?
Next up, we are moving into Obzon, and I am pretty intrigued by both of these designs, honestly. So, let's start off with the Commander Precon version. This is Betor, Ancestor's Voice, 2 white, black, green for legendary creature Spirit Dragon 3/5 with flying and lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of +1/+1 counters on up to one other target creature you control equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. Return up to one target creature card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. So kind of a lot of words there. Basically, at the very least, here's your 3/5 flying lifelink dragon thing. It's evasive, it gains you life. So in theory, you've attacked and you've gained at least 3 life, and then you go to your end step, this triggers, and you're gonna put like at least 3 +1/+1 counters on up to another creature you got, and then you're gonna return like a creature from your like grave to battlefield based on the number of counters. So you're both pumping up your existing creatures on the board and recurring something. And like, this is like one of those cards where I'm like, all right, you're actually making life gain relevant in Commander. Finally, yay! Like, no, like I want life gain to be more relevant in Commander, so I'm very excited about this card.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those. It's kind of similar to Narev in the sense of like it's very interesting design, I guess, but because it's like gaining life matters, but also like spending life matters. So you have to like find that balance.
Yeah.
And I think that's.
Oh, I think I miss said. So like you're gaining +1/+1 counters for the life you've gained, and then it also cares about life loss, and that's what's returning from grave to battlefield. I think I misspoke. I'm sorry, folks. So the point is like you both want to gain life and lose life. Gain life so you're buffing up your pre-existing board, and lose life so you're recurring things. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's like the balance that you kind of want to have is like, okay, how do I gain life, and then what can I use to like spend life as a resource? I mean, we have, you know, plenty of cards that are like, hey, use life as a resource. I don't know, like Necropotence. So it's like, oh,
I've never heard of it.
You never heard of it?
Necrodominance? Never heard of it.
Necrodominance or Necropotence? Which one have you not?
Either.
Okay.
Both are cards that exist.
I think you might need to step down as a podcast host if you've never heard of those two cards that are so strong in this format. It's sorry, I hate to break it to you.
This is an intervention.
But yeah, so I like this because, you know, it definitely does encourage this really unique deck building exercise. So it's like, yeah, pay life, do something, and also be rewarded. But, you know, don't be too greedy. So, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Very good. Yep. Next up, I think this next one is going to be even more popular. This is Baator, Kin to All. It is 2 white, black, green. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, 5/7 flying. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. If creatures you control have greater total toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Then, if creatures you control have total toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life rounded up. I've had the pleasure to play against this since the card's been released, and it did a lot of work. It was like the big threat for like 2 like rotations of the table. It was in a surprise, a Toughness Matters focus deck, and a lot of Toughness Matters creatures have low mana values, so they were able to just like put out a bunch of creatures really quick, slam Baator mid to late game, and it's pretty easy to have like total toughness 40 or greater. So like you're drawing a card, you're untapping all of your creatures so that your opponents can't swing back into you, and then like you're having their life, which after like 2 rotations of the table, like it goes from 40 to 20 and then 20 to 10. Like game's gonna end real quick.
Yeah, and I like how it was at the beginning of your end step, because it's like, play this and pretty much like, okay, I have nothing else to do, go to end step, so it immediately rewards you for like playing this. You know, like a lot of the times it's like you see cards that are like, oh, play this, it needs to survive a turn rotation. This does not.
Like if it's a beginning of the upkeep trigger, it's like, oh my god, I just paid like 7 mana for this giant dragon, you're saying it has to live an entire turn rotation to have an effect? Boo.
Yeah. So I think, you know, that's already great. Some, you know, best cards like for this are just like the 2 trees. So like I think it's Tree of Perdition and Tree of Redemption, which those have like really high toughness for the amount of mana. They're like double digits, I think. A lot of tree folk. I know Blake loves tree folk, but like those are pretty good. I do. So those come out
all
early.
Those walls, defenders. Yeah. Velothar, the Steadfast, just came out. I think that's also a really popular Toughness Matters commander that just dropped in addition to Belthar.
Yep.
Or Baator, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with people. Like, I do think that this one is also going to be quite popular. I think so. We've talked about 3 sets so far. I think this so far is like the best set, where like each of them are very interesting. Whereas like the other 2 sets, like, oh, one of them's pretty good, the other one's like, okay. This is the first one where I'm like, both of these are bangers.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. Next up, we have the Sultai. So first is Taval, the Balanced Scale. This is the one that is in the Commander deck. It is 1 black, green, blue, legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, flying, as all of these dragons have had so far. So whenever it attacks, mill 3 cards, then you return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token, and it's a 4/4. I think this is generically just very good value. Like, get a card back from your graveyard, put it onto the battle. Get a land back from your graveyard, so it's like pseudo ramp. Create a zombie. Delve is a pretty famous mechanic that will allow cards to be exiled from your graveyard. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I think this one overall is like, yeah, Sultai doing Sultai stuff. It cares about the graveyard, creating some zombies, so...
Yeah, I think this is overall a great design. It's great that it attacks and mills 3, and then you return a land, any land, from grave to battlefield tapped. Yeah, it's pseudo ramp. That's great, love it. I think the real ability of where it shines, oddly enough, is like in its last ability, where like whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a specific type of token, that being a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. And so I've actually seen a decent number of people be interested in this as both a Sultai zombie type deck as well as a Sultai druid type deck.
Interesting.
Because you can do some silly things. You know, like zombie, like granted most of that is in black and blue, and there's lots of very strong black and blue zombie commanders, right? Like Wilhelt and like many others. So I think, but some people want to add a little bit of green, just for some variety and options. But I think I've also heard a lot of people talk about this Taval, the Balanced Scale, in Druid type decks, because you have really strong Druid type cards like Seton, Prosin, Protector, where you're basically like getting, I think it's mana for each of your druids, so it's like just insane mana production. And then like everyone's favorite druid finisher, that in the form of Guildleaf Druid, where you just like steal all of your opponent's lands. And like it's really easy to make the like 7 druids in order to steal a target player's lands with Taval. And so it's just like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, oh, this kind of interests me.
Yeah. Other mechanics that
I'll take that.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'll take that Gaia's Cradle. I'll take all of your Tron lands. I'll take your Field of the Dead. I'll take all of your busted lands.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking for a sec, but other mechanics that I think that tend to care, but like Dredge, also very powerful, very strong. So like dredging cards, you can put lands into the graveyard, put cards from your graveyard to your hand, card leaves, flashback, harmonize. There's a couple of those. Disturb, which is a mechanic from like Innistrad. So there's certainly many cards that you can get that can help trigger this. Okay. This next one is also, I think, quite interesting. Taval, Arbiter of Virtue. So this is in the main set. It's 2 black, green, blue, flying, legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, flying, lifelink. Spells you cast have Delve. So each card you exile from your graveyard while casting those spells pays for 1 generic mana. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value, and it's a 6/6. So Delve is probably on the top
Most
three.
busted mechanics ever?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It competes with other mechanics I just mentioned, like Dredge, but Storm also.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is very interesting. It's nice because it definitely has like the balance of like, here's a really good upside, but here's also a really bad downside. So whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. So you know, this is also one of those kind of like give and take type commanders, but it's any spell. It's all your creatures, it's all your enchantments, sorceries, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is incredibly great design because they basically gave a really strong upside and power to a card that's very clean and elegant and readable, not very wordy, and then equally in a very clean, elegant, not wordy way, they balanced it out with that second line saying, whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. Like, that is just so perfectly balanced, and it's one of those things where, like, you know, a lot of cards, like, have a upside up front, and then, like, they say what the downside is, and then immediately people are like, okay, that's just stone unplayable. There's, like, no way around that. But that's not the case with this card, and, like, there's, like, potential, like, wiggle room where, like, you can really take advantage of this card if you're a skilled player and a knowledgeable player. And especially as time moves forward, I think it'll give even more potential for getting around that downside and having this be a strong yet not like completely busted card. And that's really promising. Yeah. I also just like looked through Delve cards. There's only like 29, and like it's funny how like either you completely do not know these cards at all or you do. Like it's like 0 or 100. Like nobody knows Become Immense, but everybody knows Dig Through Time. Like nobody knows, like, I don't know, Logic Knot. Maybe some people do, but like everybody knows Hogak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Murktide Region. Temporal Trespass. Yeah, I'm looking through the list now. There's a decent number that you could probably put in, like, so like Temporal Trespass, Treasure Cruise. But those are like cards that also would have like a pretty big downside, because like you would lose life equal to like 8 mana value, 11 mana value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, next up. This one's a bit of a different pairing. So, instead of having a commander, precon version of the dragon, and then a main set version of the dragon, it's mixed up a little bit. So here we have, in the commander precon, Shiko and Narset unified. It is 1 blue, red, white, legendary creature, human spirit dragon. It is a 4/4 with flying and vigilance with the flurry mechanic. So whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy that spell if it targets a permanent or player, and you may choose new targets for the copy. If you don't copy a spell this way, draw a card. So this is a very strange card. It breaks the other like pattern that we've been establishing this episode, where it's not just a dragon, it's a like dragon, that being Shiko, and another character, Narset. There's like lore reasons for why this card exists. I'm not going to get into them right now. I just find it very interesting where it reminds me of, and Guy, I want your input on this. It reminds me of way back in not that very long ago in March of the Machines, when they had like X character and Y character are on a card together, and this can be your commander. This feels like that, and I was not expecting it, And now I'm questioning whether we will see like this sort of phenomenon every once in a while going forward in other sets. Like, are we gonna see like one X character and Y character as your commander like every set? I don't know. I'm now just kind of paying attention to it.
I don't know if it'll be every set, but I feel like, you know, it is a way for them to do something fun. I think they've done it a couple other times in between this and like March of the Machines, or maybe they've done it like a couple times before March of the Machines. I mean, yeah. So I do like it. I do think that it's like a pretty cool design that we get to see. It allows us to have two characters that are pretty popular on one card.
Yeah, and our set's pretty popular. Next up, we have the main set version, which is Shiko, Paragon of the Way. It is 2 blue, red, white, legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, 4/5 with flying and vigilance. When Shiko enters, exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. Copy it, then you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. I don't really have too much to say about this other than like it's a 5 mana dragon with decent stats and like flying and vigilance, and like you can abuse the ETB effect, like because you're in blue you can flicker it, you're in white so you can flicker it, and you can just like repeatedly cast like copies of spells that are mana value 3 or less and just get value. I'm not particularly impressed by this card as the commander or in the 99, but I can't deny that it's a great value card.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is like it could be any type of card in your graveyard.
Yeah, any non-land card.
Yeah, so it's like you could get creatures, you could get enchantments. Yeah, I'm not like super high on this one. One thing I do want to note is that stuff like Anointed Procession, or like Mondrak, or anything that's gonna like double up on like tokens that are doubling tokens, that won't really affect what you're doing here because you make the copy on the stack. It's not when it like enters the battlefield. So, you know, don't include a bunch of those. You probably just want to include a lot of like low value things that can probably be recurred from the graveyard, like Giver of Runes, Mother of Runes, things like that. I think this one's okay. I think the Shiko and Nars set is the more interesting of the two.
I agree. This pairing, less interesting than I think all the others. So, with that said, we have now talked about all of the Spirit Dragons and their various forms. Do we want to now move into the monocolor?
Yeah. So, as always, we go in Wooburg order. So, we got this first dragon, which is a white dragon. This one's from the main set. And it is Clarion Conqueror. So it is 2 white creature dragon. Flying. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. So it's very much like Collector Oof, Curse Totem, Null Rod, Linvalva. It's just a nice beefy stacks piece.
That's exactly what this is. Like, it's you know, an apple is an apple sometimes. Like, it's pretty straightforward. I don't know if it's like yeah, I don't know, because like stacks pieces, you want them to be very versatile and just like hate out on a lot of things to make, and like at the same time you don't want them to hate out on like what you're doing. So that's really all you got to remember is like Do I want to play cards like Collect Roof, Curse Totem, and Null Rod? Alright, I probably want Carrion Conqueror. And like, obviously there's going to be exceptions to that, but hey, you know, you're playing stacks. You got to accept the fact that you're playing a pretty complicated deck probably, and people are going to socially hate you, and you just got to be ready for that. Hopefully you had a pregame discussion.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good in like mono white decks that are like trying to slow down your opponents while you're trying to play catch up, because it does stop a lot of like mana abilities from like Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, stuff like that. So
that is so tough to be like the mono white commander deck that is playing all stacks pieces. Like, it's possible, don't get me wrong. Like, I've seen it. I've heard like about it. Like I've heard of people playing like various Heliods as like the commanders. And like you can win, but like it takes a lot of piloting skill, and that's tough.
yeah.
That's like our only white dragon, because again, this is a dragon focused part 2 of a set review. So now we're moving into blue already, and this is Diviner of Mist. It is 4 and a blue for a creature dragon 4/5 with flying. Whenever this creature attacks, mill 4 cards. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard with mana value 4 or less without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So basically, this is a 5 mana dragon that every time you attack, you're going to mill some cards, and you're going to be able to cast some instants and sorceries and for free. And then you're going to have to like exile them later after you resolve casting them. Pretty good value piece. Like, that's all I really have to say about this card. Like, you know, in Commander, we think about things like Snapcaster Mage, or what's the fucking like Blue Gear Hulk?
Torrential Gear Hulk.
Yeah, Torrential Gear Hulk. Thank you. And like, there's a couple other cards, but like, this is pretty good. Where it's just like, I don't know, like. It is 5 mana, so you do want to make sure you're getting the most out of this effect. Like, you're probably not wanting to play this in a deck just for like its attack trigger and mill 4 cards. You probably want more value than that, so you probably do want a decent number of instants and sorceries. But like, the upside to this is the fact that it's like mana value 4 or less, and that's going to be a majority of sorceries and instants in the Commander format. Besides for like, I don't know, extra turn spells, but extra turn spells are boring in my opinion, whatever. So, like, have fun with this dragon. It'll cast you some free shit. It's good value. It's just a value card. It's a value card.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, next one is Hammerhead Tyrant. 4 blue. Creature dragon. Whenever you cast a spell, return up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to the spell's mana value to its owner's hand, and it's 6/6. So it's very much like Hullbreaker Horror, very control. So if you're casting a lot of spells, because it's any spell, it's not just like, oh, cast an instant or sorcery. It cares about when you do creatures, enchantments, anything. Battles, you know. Let's not forget about battles, you know. That's a spell type. Kindred, that's another spell type. But yeah, so I think it's pretty nice. Like, the tough part is like, you know, making sure that you're always going to be able to like target something if you can, because, you know, if you're casting a lot of things, you're probably casting cheap stuff, so you might be able to like clear some tokens. But yeah, it's not like you're gonna be like, oh, let me cast 5 different 8 mana spells in one turn to, you know, get rid of the biggest threats. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, where like if you're casting a bunch of 0, 1, 2, or 3 mana value things. Like you're probably not bouncing like the big haymakers that your opponents have. Like at the same time, I think that's a good thing because we don't want more Tidespout Tyrants. We don't want more Hullbreaker Horrors where they can just abuse like low mana value cards, especially like 0 mana artifacts, where they can just like basically bounce your opponent's entire boards and be like, alright, I have my board intact. I have bounced all of my opponent's boards of all their permanents. Pass? Like, do you concede? Like, I just don't think that's... I mean, it ends games because people usually concede, but I think it's probably a good thing that Hammerhead Tyrant is not as, like, strong as those, I'd argue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, what's next?
Alright, next up we have Voracious Bibliophile. So it is 3 and a blue for a creature dragon, 3/3 with flying and vigilance. So a relatively small dragon, right? 4 mana, 3/3. But it's very simple. It says whenever you cast a spell with 1 or more targets, draw that many cards. Kind of a like simple yet very unique effect, and I immediately thought of Hinata Dawn Crowned, where you go to target a single thing, and then you suddenly are targeting like multiple things, and this dragon is now going to draw you so many fucking cards. And Hinata is just one example, but you know, this is a relatively like easy to cast blue creature that can in theory draw you a card for every time you're using your like blue spot removal or your blue blink spells if you're in mono blue, for example, and it helps you like maintain your card advantage, which is probably what you want to do in mono blue. Like, so even at the bottom level, like this card is decent. On the high end, like in Hinata, this card's busted.
Yeah.
And I just like that kind of design, you know, in like a specific situation. In a highly specific situation, this a card is great, but like on the majority, like it's just sort of meh or like moderate, which is design I can approve of.
Yeah, and I mean, it's whenever you target anything too, so like even when you're like countering spells, it's like, okay,
Correct.
Counter spell, draw a card. Like you're gonna get your rebate back pretty quickly. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good card.
I do too. I don't think like it's the best card in the world, but it's like moderate and it's worth talking about at least for a minute or two. With that said, we are now moving into red, guys' favorite color.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about these first two. Or if you want to read this first one, and then I'll read this next one. Because the next one I'm like peak excited for.
I'm really stoked about. Oh yes, now I'm looking at the notes. I see. So I will read this next one. I have a few thoughts about it. This is Sarkhan Dragon Ascendant. We've seen Sarkhan a number of times in the past, over the years. At the low cost of 1 and a red mana, you get a legendary creature, Human Druid 2/2. That says when Sarkhan enters, you may behold a dragon. If you do, create a treasure token. So remember, to behold a dragon, you basically choose a dragon you control or reveal a dragon card in your hand, and you make a treasure. So it's like 2 mana token generator on ETB. Alright, that's decent. So in theory, like it's kind of like pays for itself halfway. And whenever a dragon you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Sarkhan. Until end of turn, Sarkhan becomes a dragon in addition to its other types and gains flying. So in classic fashion, Sarkhan loves dragons so much he like becomes a dragon, which you've seen in a number of past Sarkhan designs. To be honest, this is kind of an example of like, all right, here's another dragon support card, but it is in its type not a dragon. It only becomes like a dragon later, or it's like, oh, your dragons cost 1 less, but it itself in its like subtype is not a dragon. Like, I don't know. I've played enough Dragon Typal, like, you only play dragons. Like, sure, this is a dragon support card, but, like, I think I'll ever see this card played.
I think it's probably going to get some play. I mean, it helps you curve out your dragons a little nicer by being able to, like, give you a treasure a little earlier. Because, like, if you are playing this in, like, the dragon-focused decks, like, it's going to be very easy to behold a dragon. And if you are playing lots of dragons, I feel like Sarkhan's going to get big pretty quickly. He's, like, don't get me wrong, he's not, like, overpowered or anything. Like, I think this is a fine, decent support for dragons.
I am very whelmed by this card.
I mean, yeah, like, I'm not overwhelmed, but it feels very Sarkhan. It kind of reminds me of, like, the Steve Buscemi meme, where he's, like, kind of dressed up like teenagers, and he's like, "Hello, fellow teens." This card's like, "Hello, fellow dragons." You know?
Yeah, that's really it. And all the dragons look at him like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah. But he loves dragons, and he wants to be a dragon, so he gets to live his dream.
Sure, I suppose. Talk about this next card. This next card is actually good.
I mean, this next card is certainly spicy. So this is Storm Scale Scion, 4 red, creature dragon, flying. Other dragons you control get +1/+1, and it has Storm. So when you cast a spell, copy it for each spell casted before it this turn. Copies become tokens, and it's a 4/4. So it's an Anthem effect for your dragons. However, if you're able to essentially, like, storm out and get a bunch of these onto the field, you're exponentially just going to be able to, like, create, like, a massive army of dragons. So, you know, one spell, that means, like, you got 5/5s, 2 spells, that means you have 6 6s, 3 spells, yeah, on and on. This card fucks. This card fucks hard. It's the second instance that we've seen a creature with Storm on it. I think the only other one is the AV Progenitor Ooze from Modern Horizons.
Yep, that's the only other one. That's the only other creature with Storm on it. It's
Yeah.
very new concept, but, like, it does work within the rules of Magic.
Yeah, so I think very cool. It's also very fun to just kind of have Storm as, like, a cameo. This is, like, a 6-mana card, so, like, you know, it's not busted by any means, but it's also not, like, weak. I feel like it's a pretty good, like, appropriate 6-mana mythic card. It's splashy and fun. It's already my favorite card of the year. I feel like it would be pretty hard. Like, this is kind of like my dream of things that I've asked for from Wizards. It's like, I want a cheap, efficient creature that can, like, double damage. So that was Sulfum. I want a creature with Storm. So that's this. And then I just want essentially another decent red card with Dredge. You know, maybe we'll get something else someday. And I want a creature land. That's it. That's all I want.
You want another Dryad Arbor?
Yes. But in red.
Interesting. Okay. So like a kobold, but also a land.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I just need Wizards to make me an Enchantress that draws 2 cards every time I cast an enchant.
Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy.
Come on. Let me dream.
Calm down.
Alright. This next red dragon is Caldera Pyramaw. It is 3 red, Creature dragon 3/3 with flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Then this creature deals damage equal to its power to target opponent. So, this is a dragon. You put it out, and then you are playing a bunch of instants and sorceries. That's then going to pump up this creature, so you feel less bad about playing a 5-mana 3/3. It'll quickly become at least a 5-mana 5/5, if not higher, after you cast a couple instants and sorceries. And then it's going to deal damage directly to, like, your opponent's face. And based on the wording, this is nice, like, because you cast an instant, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Then it's going to deal damage equal to, like, its power to target opponent. So it's going to deal 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7. And that is actually, like, a pretty decent chunk of damage every time you're casting a spell, right? Like, that's going to add up pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, if you don't address it soon, it's just going to get out of hand.
Yeah. It just sort of reminds me of, like, young Pyromancer, where it's like, here's this creature, and it's going to get you such incredible value that it's probably going to win you the game with some other synergy pieces, if not on its own. So, like, be fucking careful.
Mm-hmm.
And before we move on to the next card, if you are interested in this card, keep in mind it is in the Commander Precon, not the main set.
Yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this next one is also in a Precon. This is Goldlust Triad, 4 and a red, creature dragon, flying, myriad. So when this creature attacks for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token copy that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at the end of combat. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, and it's a 4/3. So this thing in the air is pretty disgusting. I think you are pretty spot on with, like, your, or I guess, like, so you I see you wrote Ancient Copper Dragon. I think that is a good comp, but it's like, this card is like a much less powered down version, because, like, Ancient Copper Dragon, I feel like that card's good. This card's fine. Like, I'm also, like,
it's
whelmed.
It's like, how, okay, like, what do you compare this to? Like, it's a dragon that makes treasure tokens when it deals combat damage. Like, the closest comparison I can think of is Ancient Copper Dragon. But, like, yeah, when you do that, it's like, why the fuck would I ever play Goldlust Triad unless I really want to have that type of effect, but more?
Yeah. Because Ancient Copper Dragon, probably like
fucking
80% of the time, is going to make you more than 3 tokens, or more than 3 treasure tokens. But, yeah. Card's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Next up, we have Thundermane Dragon, 3 and a red for a creature dragon 4/4 with flying. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. That's nice. You may cast creature spells with power 4 or greater from the top of your library. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste until end of turn. So, this is just nice. Like one of the main lines of text on this card is, like, you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and that reminds me of, like, both, like, somewhat older cards, but also newer cards, like Eldamri Korvek Doll. There's Realm Walker. There's Vizier of the Menageries. Like, all of these cards that care about, like, a certain type of creature when you are also looking at the top of your library. And all of those, I feel like, in the right deck are very powerful. And I feel like, you know, with context, like, this is a dragon card letting you look at the top of your library. It's saying, if your power is 4 or greater, it's not saying dragons, but it's whispering it. Like, you want to play dragon typal. You want to look at the top of your deck and see that it's a dragon. You want to play that creature spell, which is a dragon. Its power is probably 4 or greater, and then you're gonna fucking give it haste until end of turn. Like, it's just so dragon coded. Like, I don't know, it's just not amazing, but it's like, this just helps dragon typal. Yeah, end of story.
Yeah, and it's an interesting. It's the first time we've seen this in red, and I think it's a good way to kind of give like mono red some type of like
what specifically, and what specifically is the first time we've seen it in red?
You may look at the top card of your library anytime.
Yeah, I just wanted you to just clarify and say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure. Are you about to like? Do I not know magic? Is this another, like, I don't know what Necropotence does. I don't know what. Like, I was like, oh god, like.
No.
Am I about to be called out?
You're fine. No, you're fine. We both know you're the smarter of the two hosts.
You can say that more often, and I won't be mad. Okay. Next is this is another one of those, like, it's strong,
I can't believe they printed this card. At the same time, I can, but oh my god, I can't believe they've done this. These madmen at WotC.
Yeah, so this is Dracogenesis. It's 6 red enchantment, so 8 mana. You may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. So this was teased by Mark Rosewater in his, like, hey, here's some hints about upcoming cards. And Dragon Typal is going to get a card based off of a very popular other Typal card. And people started theorizing, like, what could that be? One of the big things that people were like, hey, is Dragons gonna get like a Rooftop Storm type equivalent? And that's what this is, basically. Where Rooftop Storm says zombies are free, Dracogenesis says dragons are free. So it's 8 mana. If you're playing this, it's like, okay, dump a bunch of dragons. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, in the same way, it's like, okay, you could just play Omniscience, but if you are, I guess, playing mono red, like, this is a good equivalent. But yeah, card's cool for sure. It's not like groundbreaking, I guess.
Yeah, I think anyone who has played against a zombie deck and has seen Rooftop Storm, they understand, like, oh, we're losing this turn. Because then the person just dumps their hand, gets like so much advantage and value, if not like a 2-card combo, just like so much value, like there's no way like anybody can like win against it. It's the same sort of deal. Like, sure, it costs 8 mana, but it's winning you the game, as basically any 8 mana hard cast spell probably should in Commander, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm here for it. I like it.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see more of these sorts of effects, like for the like popular like typal decks, like, because now we have zombies, now we have dragons. I hope we never get one for elves. Elves are too low curve and too like, yeah, elf ball's already a thing. Like, I think we could skip elves, maybe for angels, because angels are such high mana value, generally speaking. I think we could do one for angels. I bet people would go crazy for that shit.
That seems more appropriate, because, like, elves can create mana most of the time and can kind of, like, elf ball into themselves. They don't need help.
Yeah.
Dragons needed help.
Yeah.
Angels need help.
Yeah, those poor little dragons needed help.
Sphinxes, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. They have, what's it fucking called? Like, oh no, I was thinking of Unesh, and then Unesh just became like changeling typal, like abused the Sphinx. Anyway, I'm not gonna get down that rabbit hole. We should move into green. I'm gonna talk about Canopy. Oh, I did not practice this name. Oh, it's Gargantuan. I can't read. I've had drinks. I'm like 3 drinks in. I guess we didn't talk about that. We drink on this podcast.
That's a good point. Like, what are you? I guess before you talk about Canopy, word that Blake can't read, what are you drinking?
I'm gonna just be real with you. I have work tomorrow. I'm trying to take it fairly light, even though I've had 3 now. I'm drinking Twisted Tea Original.
All right.
What about you?
I'm just having a soju, strawberry flavor. From
Oh
Sing
shit!
Hari.
Soju sneaks up on me so hard. Oh, you're brave.
I mean, I'm only doing 1 bottle. I feel like that's like an appropriate amount for it to be like, hey, I want to get drunk-ish. I don't want to get wasted, but like, I'm gonna have a good time. You know, I just take a sip here and there. Yeah, I really liked it. This is strawberry flavor. My favorite flavor is pineapple, but that's actually really hard to find.
Is it like a limited edition product, or is it just the fact that it's not a popular flavor variant?
I just
or
don't
what?
think it's as popular as some of the other ones, so it's like often very hard to find. Strawberry and grape are like the 2 more popular ones. So, yeah.
Okay, do you go to like a certain place that you found that tends to sometimes have it?
Yeah, sometimes. This was a gift, so I just was like, alright, drinking that tonight.
Okay. If it's hard to find, then I can like rationalize like sipping on it slowly, which is a good thing to do. I tend to down my soju and then be like, oh, that was a mistake.
Oh, I mean, I do live near K-Town in Los Angeles, so it is not hard for me to get soju, but
lucky bastard.
Yeah, the pineapple ones are the hard ones to find. So, okay.
Alright, that all being said, we are returning to Green Dragons. And we are talking about Canopy Gargantuan, which is big. It's a 5 and green 7/7 with flying and ward 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a number of +1/+1 counters on each other creature you control equal to that creature's toughness. So, yes, it's a lot of mana up front, but it has Ward 2, so it's probably surviving a rotation of the table unless someone really has a really efficient spot removal and can pay the Ward 2. And then this is gonna like fucking make your entire board like basically double in size, probably, statistically speaking. And so like this is just like a game ender, dude. Like this is probably gonna like end the game soon. Because at the like very least, it counts itself, right? Or I guess each other creature you control. But like, still, it's gonna help end the game soon. Whether it's in dragon typal decks like the Dragon or not. Like, or plus, I just think in +1/+1 counter decks too. Like, holy fuck, I think this is just like a game finisher.
I do like, in this instance, I do like how it's like, okay, at the beginning of your upkeep, so it's like, okay, we gotta get rid of this thing before like it survives the turn rotation, you know? The Ward 2 is very annoying.
Yeah, I'm looking up other cards with like Ward 2, and I'm like, oh shit, those cards have it too, and it has been annoying. Like Adrix and Nev Twincasters, the like Simic Merfolk Wizard twins that like double tokens. Oh yeah, Captain Howler, that like red blue shark pirate back in the racing set. Mm-hmm. That one also fucks me up. A few others. Oh, the red blue that thing from like Warhammer 40k that I don't care about because I don't care about Universes Beyond, but people play it and I get fucked by it. The Geyerson Starn like Tim deck.
I don't know what you're talking
Just like
about,
these,
but yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. There's like lots of these little things that I'm like, fuck, I get fucked by those all the time. Oh, fucking Miram Sentinel Worm, dude. Like the Teamer Dragon Spirit doubler. I get fucked by that so hard, so often. Yeah, Ward 2 is just annoying.
Yes.
I forgot Roaming Throne had Ward 2 too. God.
Okay, yeah. Okay. One more monocolor. Broodcaller Scourge, 5 green. Creature dragon, flying. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to that damage from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is kind of like a late game, hey, I play this, I probably have a couple other dragons out, each of them deals combat damage to a player. I could put up to 3 things onto the battlefield. Doesn't have to be dragons, but can be other stuff. So yeah, just another good way of being able to cheat in things. If you're dragon focused, could be more dragons. Yeah, I mean, this card certainly is strong. It's certainly good.
Yeah, I think you really said it all, and I don't really have anything to add to that. With that, I think we can move into the multicolor. Alright, so now we move into a dragon, surprise, surprise, but it's multicolor. This is Colossal Grave Reaver. It is 6 black-green. Creature dragon, 7/6 with flying. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, mill 3 cards. Alright, so that's pretty decent. But then it also has, whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from the library, put one of them onto the battlefield. It's a pretty straightforward effect. This is a very Golgari card, if I've seen one, where it's milling you cards and also returning like creatures from grave to battlefield. And this just seems like a great like late game like finisher and value engine. Like, this is a great card if you're playing that kind of archetype.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, it's kind of straightforward, but it's like your top end finisher, I think. Like Myco Tyrant maybe would be interested in this because it helps continue to like mill you and also return a creature. Yeah, anywho.
Yeah, and
do you want to read this next one?
Oh, the only other thing I was gonna say is I do like it that it has like the Titan type ability where it's like whenever it enters or attacks. So there is a good chance that like, you know, it enters, you could potentially like mill a creature in any other way of milling. So like again, dredge. Yeah, I think it's pretty good because like 8 mana, you definitely want something that's going to be able to like rebate your value pretty quickly. Okay, so that was that. All right, so 1, 2, 3 more cards. Then we're done, folks. This one is Call the Spirit Dragons. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, it's the Spirit Dragons. White, blue, black, red, green. Enchantment. Dragon creatures, dragons you control have indestructible.
Seems good.
At the beginning of your upkeep, for each color, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon you control of that color. If you put +1/+1 counters on 5 dragons this way, you win the game. Pretty self-explanatory. I also think, some of the best dragon decks, for each color, put on a dragon you control of that color. Can you target one dragon that's 5 colors? Okay, I'm looking it up. So the last ability will only cause you to win the game if you put a +1/+1 counter on each of 5 different dragons with it.
Okay, that's okay.
I think, yes, you could target.
It's not like you can put out Dragon and be like, I have one creature that's 5 colors, I win the game.
Correct. But you could target Dragon, I think, and put 5
as
counters
one of
on
those.
it. But it would not count for the 5 colors.
The win con.
It has to be 5 different dragons. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, the joys of like the rules and like color identity and other formats. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Getting back into this, it is a pretty cute way of being able to have like an alternate win con with dragons. I do think it's also like nice because it's like 5 mana. Put this out, dragons you control have indestructible, so it's kind of like in the middle of like, maybe you played a dragon the turn before this and you've then played this on turn 5, then future turns you're playing more dragons, so it feels like the appropriate amount of mana for it to like slot in nicely. You see what I'm saying? Like, yes. It's not too expensive. It's like at the right amount of mana before I'm gonna start playing all the big dragons.
Yeah, I will be honest, like when I think of Call of the Spirit Dragons, I just think of the alternate win con, and when we were reading this card, I'm like, wait, it does that too? I forgot the fact that it makes dragons you control have indestructible. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, this is just good.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty slam dunk in like dragon typal decks that are 5 colors, aka the Dragon. Or I guess if you're gonna play Scion of the Dragon.
Yeah, it's gotta be a 5 color dragon typal deck. On a different note, how do you feel about this card as another alternate win con that cares about like having 5 colors?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done an episode on this yet, but like Coalition Victory was just unbanned, so like that is the most obvious comparison that you can make. I feel like this is still a harder condition to make than Coalition Victory, because again, you do need it to be 5 specific dragons, whereas Coalition Victory could be like, Dragon counts as my creature for all 5 colors. It meets that condition.
Right.
I think it does give like dragons at least like, see, like the thing is like dragons can kind of win already with them just being like big and strong. So I don't know if you really needed the win con of, hey, 5 dragons, but it's just kind of flavorful. It's kind of cool. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's partially also lore based is why this card came to exist, right? Like, I don't think we're gonna get this for elves. I don't think we're gonna get this for angels.
Oh no.
No, like I think this is very much like a heavily like it even says at the bottom of the card in the very small white text, it's a story spotlights card. Like it's the what's the terminology I'm trying to use here? The mechanics and design of this card are heavily influenced by the story. So like I don't expect to see this for other types.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about dragons is dragons, while primarily red, do kind of like bleed into some of the other colors a little more. Elves, not so much. Angels, no. You don't really see like mono green angels. So, you know, dragons are kind of one of those like, this is a creature that can be any color with some frequency. But yeah, I mean, show me a mono blue angel, or show me a mono blue elf. I bet one exists.
I'd have to look it up. Yeah. Anyways, we are now moving into the colorless cards. That's correct.
Ooh.
We have colorless dragon cards.
This next one I hate so much. If I could like wrap my hand around its throat, I'd kill him.
Yeah, so this is Ugin, Eye of the Storms. It is 7 colorless mana. Legendary Planeswalker Ugin starts with 7 loyalty. So you're like, Blake and Guy, why wasn't this in part 1? It's like, well, he's a fucking dragon. Like, even though it's not a dragon, like, subtypes. Shut the fuck up. This is our podcast. We do what we want. Anyways, 7 colorless, 7 loyalty. It has a static ability. It says when you cast this spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Alright, that's fine. But wait, the bullshit text line is here. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Okay.
That's it, right? Like, there's nothing else.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Like, you're in a colorless deck and you just like play all your colorless cards and you exile your entire like opponent's board except for their lands, right? No, there's more. There's +2. You gain 3 life and draw a card, so it's a draw engine. Then there's a 0 ability. Add 3 colorless mana, so it's draw and mana. But wait, there's more. There's -11 that says search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards. Exile them, then shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast those cards without paying their mana costs. So it starts at 7, goes like up to 2, like draws you a card, so 9, then 11, and then you can ultimate it to like basically flood your entire deck onto the board. Oh my god, I can't believe this card. I was so pissed when I saw this card revealed, because our friend Park plays a colorless commander deck. The commander is Liberator Urza's Battlethopter, the one that like basically makes all your colorless spells have flash, and then it also buffs itself up whenever you cast a colorless spell. So like basically your entire deck has flash, and like now whenever he plays a spell, he gets to exile one of our permanents. And it's just like, and then on top of that, he gets to draw cards, make mana, or play his entire deck with the ultimate. And he plays yeah, he's changed up the deck list. He now has the Chain Veil, so like he can get up to 11 that same turn, and then just ultimate and then bomb it out his entire deck. And then also have ways to like not deck out on the next turn rotation. And I'm like, God, I remember when this card was revealed. I was so pissed off. Like I sent it, and he was like, I knew they were gonna revive Ugin, but I didn't realize they were gonna give me like the best Ugin in the entire world. I'm so pissed off.
No, I'm so pissed too. Like, it's ridiculous, like, how much text is on this card. And just, like, I guess, like, the big thing is, like, in order to make the best out of this, it does have to be in a colorless specific deck. Which, you know...
Yeah, let's talk
like,
about that. Hey, Guy, let's talk about that. Like, do you need to be a colorless specific commander deck to play this card? Or do you just need to be a monocolor deck that happens to run a lot of like colors stuff like artifacts.
I mean, in that case, like, yes. So, I think it is a little niche where it goes into, but it's like, the niche decks that do want to run this are just getting, like, the best card ever. So, yeah, mono blue artifacts, or mono blue that cares about artifacts, that's probably going to want this. Mono red that cares about artifacts, that this is probably going to want this. Even like mono white, like a Voltron, or like something that's just going to like play a lot of equipments might want this.
Like SRAM decks, mono white SRAM.
Yeah, because it's also like, oh, 0? Here's 3 mana. Play a bunch of stuff. Okay.
I've also considered playing this in my mono black Phage of the Untouchable deck, because half of that deck is colorless, and I'm in mono black, so I can like ramp out and make a bunch of mana with like Cabal Coffers and Magus of the Coffers and like Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. So I'm like, I'll make a bunch of mana with my black mana and then cast a bunch of equipment and artifacts and just like start like exiling all of my opponent's stuff. Sure.
Interesting. Okay. So,
because I'm mono black, like I only have so many answers to like enchantments and like, for example, and like, sure, it doesn't hit artifacts like most artifacts unless they're colored artifacts, but like I take what I can get.
yeah, I mean, it's just like any permanent, one or more colors, exile, so it gets around like indestructible stuff. It's just so good. Like,
also, here's another question for you. If you're a colorless commander deck, is this just like the definition of like a staple?
yeah, I don't
Yes.
see why you wouldn't run this in any colorless matters type deck.
Like this, I think that's my main issue with this card. Is like this is like the definition of a staple. Granted, it's like in a specific color identity, and a color identity that's like arguably like the least popular, even after mono white. But it's still like a staple nonetheless. I'm like, I don't necessarily like that. I also have to like temper my feelings because I think that this card, and correct if I'm wrong, guy, I'm willing to bet this is like built for Tron in other formats because it's a 7 mana
I have no
colorless
idea.
card. Okay, I was gonna ask you because you play a little bit of Modern,
I mean,
but I
probably.
wouldn't be too surprised if this was a Tron deck and this was a card to help like revive or give more gas to that archetype.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. We don't play anything besides Commander, except for Guy. He plays a bit of Modern.
Yeah, so this card's super annoying. I hate it.
I'm gonna lose so much of my board state to this card. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down on the field. I'm just gonna be like, God damn it! Like, get it off.
And then even if you attack into it, like it has 7 starting loyalty, and you get to +2 it, so you know it's gonna be at 9 loyalty. And like,
I am
like that's
willing to make
that's not.
any deal to get rid of this. Like, I will give you my. I'm not gonna have children, so I can't say like I'll give you a child.
My firstborn child.
I'll give you my rarest card,
Oh my god.
Battle City. Like, let's just get rid of this thing.
God. Yeah, the fact that you can like, if you go to attack with this and then using Liberator, you flash in a colorless spell and you exile all the attackers that were assigned as attackers on Ugin, and it lives. Ugh. I'm so pissed off.
3 lightning bolts. That's all it takes.
Oh my god. Alright. Next up, we should talk about the last card.
Yeah,
Which
this
is
last
much
one's
less-
pretty straightforward. I think that this one's also kind of like, hey, probably goes in like almost every dragon deck that you can think of, it is a new Mox Jasper. So 0 mana, as they all are. Legendary artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if you control a dragon. So, you know, in the closest comparison that I can think of is like, I think Mox Amber, which says activate only if you control like a legendary creature or planeswalker. So this just says like dragon, add a free mana. The mana can be used for anything. You just have to control the dragon. That's it. It's pretty good. It's got the serialized version. So like in the last set, the serialized card was the Aether Spark. So there was like a 500 copies of that one card. There's 500 copies of the special art of this card. Basically, yeah. It's good.
I think you might have to convince me a bit, Guy. Because, I don't know. I'm at the point where, like, you know, the early Moxen are so strong that they're banned in Commander, right? The original, like, Moxen for all the colors. And then, like, Wasi was like, alright, we're gonna build, like, less powerful Moxen. And then they were still broken, like Mox Diamond. And Mox Opal. And Mox Opal was busted in certain formats. And they made Mox Amber. And even then, that was, like, seen some play in other formats. And now we have Mox Jasper. Like a 0 mana legendary artifact. Adds 1 mana of any color. Activate only if you control a dragon. But, like, my main thing is, like, dragons are notoriously high mana value. So, like, this doesn't really do anything early game. It might do something, like, mid-game. But, like, I went to Scryfall and I, like, sorted by dragon and I sorted by mana value. And it's like, I'm looking at all the 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, and like 4 mana dragons. I'm like, they don't really see much commander play because they're all kind of meh. Like, the first one I see is like Arcades the Strategist, like the Bant one from like M19. Like, I don't know. I think this is like a perfect example of like, this is a Moxen, but it's not an issue in Commander.
Oh,
like,
it's certainly not an issue. Like, definitely not an issue.
I think honestly the biggest gripe I have with this card is like the serialized headliner version with like the specific art that like has, you know, like the X out of 500 printings, you know, where like you can only get this specific art if you get one of the 500 serialized versions. And I understand why the company's doing this. They've started to do it, I think, back in March of Machines with like one of the Elish Norns.
All the not Eldrazi. All the Praetors got a special version like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so they're continuing that trend into nowadays. I'm like, that's something I don't like. So that's honestly my biggest gripe with the card. Like, I'm actually fine with Mox Jasper, except for that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that so much right now because that's like kind of like an aesthetic thing. But card is like, I think just the card, it cares about dragons. It's good for dragons. Like, yeah, it's a free mana. It's fine. It's good. That's it.
Alright, with that said, do you want to wrap things up here and say our final thoughts?
I mean, final thoughts, but dragons fuck.
They do fuck.
And they're
it's
pretty
canon.
Good. Oh, I do see you wrote in your... So, okay, something new that we're doing kind of, but the top, we're kind of like taking bets as to like what are the top cards of the year going to be when we do our end of the year review. So we're doing that with like what are the top 3 commanders and what are the top 3 99 cards. So we each picked those. I'm clarifying mine real quick, but yeah, so yes, okay, there we go. All right, so like overall thoughts of this set is pretty cool. I think it's the most Magic set that we've seen in quite a while. We had Aether Drift, which was like kind of unique. We saw several different planes, but it was like a racing set. I didn't mind it as much because, like, okay, you know, something new Magic's doing. Cards were okay.
I think the fact that it was split between 3 planes made the identity of the set weaker and harder for the average player to feel as connected to and like invested.
Yeah. But this is like dragons. You like dragons? Here you go.
I think this is like the biggest set since like Bloomborough that everyone's been like, oh my god, this is great. I think this is going to be even more popular than Bloomborough because instead of cute animals, it's fucking dragons. And everybody loves fucking dragons.
Yeah. Okay.
So that all being said, now that we've gone through part 1 and part 2, do we want to say like our top 3 predictions of like the most popular commanders from this set by the end of the year and the top 3 most popular 99 cards by the end of the year? Like our predictions?
Yes. So my predictions are most popular to third most popular, I guess. Baator, Kin to All, who is the main set Obzon Spirit Dragon. Deval the Balanced Scale, which is the commander deck Sultai Spirit Dragon. And then Ureni of the Unwritten is going to be the commander Spirit Dragon for the teamer. In that order, top 3. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, I think those are very solid bets. Because, as we've said a million times before, dragons fuck. And these are all dragons. They're whether it's in the main set or the commander set. Yeah, I think these are the most popular versions of the 2 between the 2 sets. Yeah, I think those are pretty solid. Like, mine's pretty similar. I said my number 3 was Deval the Balanced Scale. Number 2, Baator, Ancestor's Voice. And then I said number 1, I took a gamble. I said Eshki, Teamer's Roar. Just because I wanted to try something a little bit different. And I thought that deck does have legs.
So wait, to clarify, who do you think is the most popular?
I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna say Teshki.
Okay, because the way that I had it, I guess, like, when I was writing these, Baator, was my number 1, because if I am correct, I get 3 points for that.
Oh, okay. I guess I gotta move mine around.
So you get, I think you get the reverse yours. So Eshki's your most popular. I guess Baator can stay the same. And the Baator you do have is the commander Baator, not the main set Baator. Correct?
Ancestor's Voice. This is what I get for writing notes and drinking. The Commander version.
Okay. Because that's interesting, because I picked the main set version as the more popular. You picked the Commander version. So we'll see.
Yeah. Then what do you say for the 99?
Alright, so the number one most popular card I'm thinking is Mistrise Village. It's a land that's blue. It almost has like no downside to be put into any blue deck. So I think that's like an easy slam dunk. 3 points for Guy. Number two, I kind of like risked it a little because this was one of the first cards that was previewed, and I just feel like it's had a little more time. Maybe people will put this in more decks. But it's Baron Step Siege, which is the Orzhov enchantment that it's like choose one or the other. And then the last one is Voice of Victory, which I think will just be another easy slot into a lot of mono white decks. Pretty strong, very similar to Grand Abolisher.
Okay. It's sort of interesting. Like, I feel like we're on the same boat. Where like my one pointer is Voice of Victory as well. Like, we're both like, all right, we recognize the CDH community. We recognize that they will play this card a whole bunch. So like we felt pretty safe. You put as your 3-pointer your Mistrise. I put Mistrise Village as my number 2. So I feel like we're basically in the same camp there. And I think the one point we diverged is you went with the choice of the Orzhov Siege, and I went with my 3-pointer as Dragogenesis, because I think like Dragon type of players are unstoppable, and they will play this as their win con. More than the 5-color win con, alternate win con card.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I think that's a bold choice. You're very brave for picking that. But
full send.
Yeah, but I get your reasoning. Like, dragons are, again, one of the most popular creature types. So, like, it's not like this card isn't going to have a home. And yeah, I can see where you're coming at. I just think it was a little too expensive for it to see play in like a high number of decks, but could be wrong. Probably not, but could be wrong.
Alright, well, with that all being said, folks, we finally made it to the end of the episode. We want to thank you so much for listening, and we appreciate you sticking to the end. So with that all being said, we are the Wizard Staff Podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you listen to our podcasts. Make sure to leave a like and review. It actually really does help us out. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky at WizardStaff101. Send us an email at thewizardstaff101@gmail.com if you want to bitch and complain about how stupid we are. Thank you again so much for listening, and we hope you have a great night. Peace out.
Peace.